Are you ready to get into our Barbenheimer discussion episode, Yao?
Yeah, so let's talk a bit about Barbenheimer. Um, this is a wild trend. I mean, this has been going on for a while because Oppenheimer and Barbie have been slated to be on the release date, and the world was just like, "Yo, double feature!" Since Warner Brothers and Christopher Nolan are now two different entities, they can come out on the same day. The rumor has it that Warner Brothers wanted to spite Nolan. I don't know how accurate that is because
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate because like there's a lot of it going around. I don't think it would be. Yeah.
But basically, these two movies are polar opposites. One's a 3-hour nuclear war history movie, the other's a Barbie movie. And I feel like also you got like two directors who are so acclaimed right now. I mean, Christopher Nolan and Greta Gerwig, and they're both doing things that are like exciting and have potential to like define them as filmmakers. So I think like even so this sort of idea goes back to Dark Knight and Mamma Mia coming out on the same day in 2008. But this is an even wilder double feature. Like I feel like this is just like the perfect.
So like it's weird that it's like kind of like the opposite of what happened in 2008 because the more like woman oriented, I don't like using that because like
No, but I get what you mean. The more like
movie
female
was
led.
the more like not artsy but more like I don't know like the less popcorny movie I guess when compared to like Dark Knight. That was the big blockbuster, right? And
There's
now
less
you
of a
have
think piece, I guess.
and now you have the opposite situation where Barbie is like the big blockbuster, and Oppenheimer is like quote unquote like the more I guess it is the more artsy movie in a way, like the more cinema movie when it comes to like Oscars and shit like that. I love all four movies by the way, in that conceit at least. But yeah, I would say that this crazy thing that happened is more than like just the cinema of it all. It's like more of how social media has changed, uh, like society in general, I guess, because this blew up on social media, PR of companies and all that. Warner Brothers spent like $50 billion in the Barbie
And like
campaign.
Tom Cruise talking about it.
Exactly, everyone was excited about it, um, and having seen both, they make for a pretty good double feature. Actually, weirdly enough, watching like a 3-hour depressing drama epic, and then moving on to like a candy colored like 2-hour comedy as like a palate cleanser is like honestly great. I watched both of them in the same day, so yeah, no complaints for me in that department. And go ahead.
I think also they like really boosted each other's box office. I think Barbie would have been a hit anyway, but Oppenheimer, like you get the highest opening ever for a non-Batman, a Nolan film. It's already made more than Dial of Destiny, and it's been out for a week. Like I
Yeah.
would never have guessed that like Oppenheimer makes more than Flash, Indiana Jones, Dungeons and Dragons, like all these movies after 1 week. And it's great to like I work at a movie theater, so it's nice to see like two movies like that are bringing so many people to the theaters. Like, and now Barbie could even make Top Gun levels of money. So
Yeah,
I really hope it beats Mario because I did not like Mario.
I still haven't watched it. But Barbie actually had like the second best opening weekend of this year, which was almost above the expectations from the industry. Um, and now we're recording this on the next Monday, and after the second weekend, and it just made like one of the best second weekends ever. I think the sixth best second weekend of all time. So I think you might be wrong on the fact that like it would probably have been a hit, but it wouldn't have been as big a hit if Oppenheimer didn't come out at the same time. Like
I think it helped. It helped
they helped
attract
they helped
the
each
film
other.
bros.
I think they helped each other a lot. It wasn't like only one way from Barbie to Oppenheimer, but like
Because I remember when we were in Oppenheimer, there were like like they looked our age, like women our age, sitting behind us and being like, "Okay, great, now Barbie." So it's like they definitely helped each other.
Yeah,
Also, talk about Barbie's opening um, for a female directed film, and it's not even close. That's just great to see too.
yeah. And I'm glad Greta Gerwig is the one that got that. I will say, I am kind of. I hope that that doesn't happen. Her next movies are supposed to be for Netflix, and I kind of hate that. I wanted to go, yeah. So I kind of hoped that like she's right now she has the title for biggest box office for a woman director, and I want her to keep going in that direction with like big ass blockbusters at the movie theater. So yeah, I'm kind of upset that that's her next project.
That we're not seeing like a theatrical studio give a female director like that more creative freedom, but
Yeah.
maybe they just have the Narnia property and she's interested.
Yeah, so I think Barbie will easily clear $1 billion. It's already like more than 700 in like 2 weeks.
Maybe
No,
even
less than two
1.5.
weeks. And I think it's gonna be the biggest movie of this year. Uh, and Oppenheimer is probably gonna be like the biggest like Oscar movie of this year, I guess. It's probably gonna clear like 700 million ish.
I think, yeah, at least 600 million. We're going to see it past Dunkirk. We're going to see it probably get around those levels of Interstellar, like 700 million. Maybe not Inception, but you never know. I think the only thing that's stopping it is maybe the R rating, but I also think most of the target audience is like, I don't know. Like, we had Joker make 1 billion, so
Yeah,
maybe
but
R rating doesn't really
and
stop
also
people
it
anymore.
did make something like 40 million in the second weekend, which is crazy, like 46 million, which is actually
I think it's
that was the projection for the first weekend, and it made that in the second weekend, which is crazy. Um, so I wouldn't count it out. I think like even it could maybe like in a perfect world it would like leg up to like barely making 1 billion, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's out of the question though. Also, like
Yeah,
in January, February, they could do re-releases and it'll pass the finish line. I don't think it's out of the question, but it's like
yeah, but I
best case
also
scenario.
yeah, but I also think that a big problem that you have when you compare to Barbie is like the rewatchability of Oppenheimer when compared to Barbie is like probably way lower, right? Like the chances of you rewatching like a cotton candy like comedy for 2 hours is a lot higher than of you rewatching a historical drama about a physicist. So
I think also, yeah,
so
I do
yeah,
always say though that in terms of like A-list actors, A-list directors, like just the names that can bring in audiences alone. I think the only directors that are still like guaranteed sales at the box office are Nolan, Tarantino, and Jordan Peele. Like they're the only ones who will like for sure bring people to the box office. So I think Nolan has this fan base that no matter what he makes,
yeah.
like unless he's making paint dry, probably like people will come because of
I would
him.
probably still buy it too.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think we've talked about this before, but he is my favorite director. Um,
he is mine too.
Fantastic. So let's actually get into our reviews now, and let's start with the openest of Heimers, the movie about J. Robert Oppenheimer, which is definitely why this movie is so big. No, I'm joking. That's not written at all. But tell us a little bit more about Oppenheimer.
So Oppenheimer is, I think, the 12th film from Christopher Nolan. It's got Cillian Murphy in the titular role, and as of now, they've had 6 movies together, which is great to see. And also, I won't talk about everyone who's in the movie, but we got Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., and Florence Pugh, alongside a million other actors. Let's just talk about that. And it starts with J. Robert Oppenheimer being recruited into the Manhattan Project, which was one of the most top secret and important sort of teams behind the scenes of what had happened in World War II and their efforts to build the atom bomb in order to make the Japanese and Nazis surrender.
Yeah, let's start talking about like Nolan's directing and writing here. He adapted, of course, the screenplay from a book, but other than that, it's pretty much his vision. Um, I think I think he did a great job. Like usually, it's very complex to understand Nolan's like time, even in a movie that is supposed to be dramatization of reality, where you'll be okay. So I guess you do have a time that you can follow. He doesn't do that. um, and I didn't understand exactly until I don't remember if it was him that confirmed this, but like basically the black and white scenes are scenes that are not from Oppenheimer's point of view, and the colored scenes are scenes that are from Oppenheimer's point of view. That's that's like the difference, and that's genius. Because there's also a lot of scenes in black and white that Oppenheimer's not even there. Not a lot, but some. And all the colored scenes, Oppenheimer's always there. So I did appreciate that he didn't do like crazy, like different tones for different time periods. It was only that apparently was the only rule, and it came off great. Like I feel like it was a lot easier to understand than a lot of his movies, probably because of the subject matter, that it's like something that actually happened and not a crazy sci-fi dream. Um, but yeah, I can't complain about this man's directing. He's perfect.
Wow, that's so much to take in. Wow, that's interesting. Because, yeah, well, I didn't even think of that until now, and now it puts a lot of things into perspective. I love that. Because also, a lot of the nuke scenes, like not nuke scenes, like the science scenes are like in his imagination. Like you see these sparks and these fire, which are some of the best moments of the movie. And so so they're in color because it's in his mind.
Yeah.
And when I think of his directing in this movie, I just think of those 3+ hour epics like Lawrence of Arabia, where you're like covering this massive scale and like this incredible moment in history, like incredible as in it's so big to take in.
Yeah.
And the way he's even framing like the ranches or like the lights going up during the test, or even just like these building blocks that he has in his offices, everything is framed so beautifully, and you can really feel that like the power of mankind is resting on this mission, and they're about to like almost bend Earth and reality and possibly unleash the beast with this. So I loved his writing as well. I thought also a lot of people complain about Nolan's writing sometimes, or even his dialogue, and I thought he just nailed the writing here, the pace of it, the way he explains it, the sophistication of it. I think it's an excellent script.
Yeah, I think the testament of that is that it's a 3 hour movie, and at least for me, I didn't feel it at all. Like I felt it was 3 hours, but it was like not a light 3 hours, but you know what I mean. Like I didn't feel like it was like one of those heavy 3 hour movies, if that makes sense, because of the pacing, because of his writing. Um, so yeah, Nolan 10 out of 10 always. But I want to talk about Cillian Murphy's chances here. I think he has a real shot of winning the Oscar this year, just because I think a lot of things are also going to get canceled or moved to next year. But so you got to factor that in. But even if you didn't factor that in, he just delivered, in my opinion, the best performance of his career, and so far, probably the best performance of the year.
Yeah, I don't know if you've watched Peaky Blinders. I haven't yet.
I've
But
watched about 2 seasons of Peaky Blinders, and he's great in
yeah.
that.
Okay, awesome. But for me, like this is incredible transformation from him. Again, I've only seen him in movies like Inception, and of course like The Scarecrow and Quiet Place Part 2 and so on. But like just the way he acts with his eyes in this movie is so incredible. Or like his voice, his facial movements. I loved his performance, and I remember before he was cast, when you heard Nolan doing Oppenheimer movie, everyone was like, cast Cillian Murphy. So I love that it wasn't just like, oh, he looks like him, but he was perfect. So I'm so grateful for their career and their collaborations together that gave us this performance eventually.
Yeah.
And I think likely he's going to get nominated for Best Actor, especially
I
because
think 100% no.
this is, I'd say so, especially because this is considered right now critically one of Nolan's most acclaimed movies. And so far, only one performance from any Nolan movie has been Oscar nominated, which is Heath Ledger for The Dark Knight.
And he won.
But yeah, and he won. But no one else has been nominated. So I think this being a historical movie, him being a historical figure, very transformative, that's going to help it. In terms of winning, I mean, there's a shot there. Like, it's definitely there. It's July, so it's really early to
Yeah.
predict. The other ones on the radar, I'd say, are Coleman Domingo in Rustin and Bradley Cooper in Maestro, which could be a career award because he's been nominated 9 times before.
Yeah.
And they're both Netflix movies, so I don't know what Netflix wants to do in terms of they're releasing the rest of the movies this year. Like, they're a streaming giant. They care only about views.
Yeah,
so
I don't think
maybe they want to.
I don't think they're gonna move, honestly, the Netflix stuff, and the Apple TV stuff either. So I think like yeah, those movies are safe. I think.
But I think it's really like, incredibly likely he'll get nominated and he'll be one of the most talked about front runners until it's
Yeah.
clear who's getting the awards at
You
the
wanna-
ceremonies.
You said that Nolan only got one actor so far. This year, he's for sure getting 2, in my humble opinion. Because I think Mr. Robert Downey Jr. is getting in for supporting actor. And again, I know it's early on. I know it's very early. And with Killian, I 100% can't see him like maybe not winning so far. But I gotta say, I think RDJ's chances are good. Like, this was a career-defining role for him, in my opinion. This is
Ooh,
the best.
big statement there from the man who played Iron Man.
This is the best I've seen of him, and I totally transformative, completely different person. And I didn't see Iron Man. I didn't see RDJ. I saw that dude that I forgot the name.
Louis
of.
Strauss.
Louis Strauss.
Strauss. He says Strauss, not Strauss.
Okay, so I saw him 100% of the time. Not for a millisecond did I not think that that performance was incredible. So yeah, hot take. I think he's winning the Oscar this year.
I think he was excellent. I'd love to see him nominated, and you're not the only person saying that. So I think if Universal sees the same potential that the fans do, the nomination will happen. But again, I don't know who else. I don't want to say win. I don't think.
It's a lock. I know. I
Yeah,
know
but
it's still
I don't
July.
think-
I know, but
Yeah.
I think these 2 nominations are locked.
But I don't think he's like J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, where you watch it and he's winning no matter the competition. But I think he's very, very likely to get
Yeah.
nominated, especially because he's had a great career journey since he's been nominated for Chaplin and Tropic Thunder before, which love him in Tropic Thunder. But I think this will also stand out for Academy voters, and especially Robert Downey Jr. being so respected, and this being one of his first biggest roles post Iron Man period for him.
For sure. So I also want to touch on the beautiful score that I've been listening to by Ludwig Göransson. He, of course, won Oscars before for his scores, so not news that it's fantastic, but yeah, it's great. Do you have anything to touch on that?
I just love this guy. He sort of came in and became he's one of the next big ones.
Yeah,
he has
him
the
and
potential to become
Giacchino
up there with
are,
Hans Zimmer.
the 2 big ones right now. I feel like of the modern age of cinema.
Who'd you say? Him and Justin Hurwitz?
No,
Is that
him
what you said?
and Giacchino.
Oh, well, Giacchino's a lot older, but yeah.
And I guess
I think he's-
Hurwitz, yeah.
I think he's gonna get up there. No, I was generally just asking what you said because I didn't hear. But,
No, but you were right.
yeah, but Göransson, he basically came into Hollywood with his collaborations with Ryan Coogler, which got him both of his nominations and his win. I think if he doesn't get nominated at least for this score, I think they're insane. This is an incredible score. It's beautiful. It's booming. It's at the level of Hans Zimmer's score for Inception, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
And he didn't even get nominated for Tenet, which is sad because I love that score. But he won for Black Panther and was nominated for Wakanda Forever.
Nice.
So they love him.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
not a problem.
And I guess to sort of end our Oppenheimer discussion, let's talk just a little bit about the cinematography by Hoyte van Hoytem. I hate saying his name. I love the guy, but I hate saying his name. And just the use of practical effects and lighting in that cinematography compared to using CGI, like we've talked about before, that Nolan used 0 CGI shots on a movie about the atomic bomb, and I think that's incredible. You really feel how real everything is. If you ever wanted to like win the argument against CGI, just show people this movie. Um, there's still a lot that you can do with practical effects if you just put in the time.
Not to mention, we just had Dead Reckoning.
Yeah, where Tom Cruise basically did the biggest stunt of all time, practically.
I just think it's beautiful how Nolan brought this to life. Like you don't feel the illusion there. You feel like you're immersed in the history. You feel like you're immersed in the scale. It's like an adventure almost.
And you know what? It cost $100 million. This movie costs less than Indiana Jones, like a third of Indiana Jones. Mission Impossible, all of these big movies that just came out cost way less than Ant-Man, and it looks 500 million times better. So like that's the proof that when you put the care in, you don't need to put that much money. You don't need that much CGI. You just need people that care and that are good at what they do. And to not rush people. You need the time.
Mhm.
That's the
For
big
sure.
one.
Also, you talked about Oppenheimer's perspective. So, when you hear about an Oppenheimer movie, you're like, okay, at the end, are we gonna see the bombing of Hiroshima or something? We actually see it from Oppenheimer's perspective, which is just learning about it through the radio and feeling like the psychological ramifications.
Yeah.
So what Nolan actually chose to do is to have the middle of the movie be this big, like, loud moment, which is the Trinity test, and what he does with the sound, with the visuals. I just think it's like everything that he's been working towards in his filmography. And then Hoyt van Hoytema, this guy is like a Hollywood beast in my opinion. I feel like I've always been sort of vouching for him, and he shot also Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet, Spectre, Her, Ad Astra, Nope. I just think he's always been impressing me. And is one of my favorite cinematographers. So I think he has potential to finally win an Oscar here, honestly. I hope.
I hope so too, man. They love black and white movies at the Oscars, so
Oh, yeah. That's true, too.
so here's to
And
Hoyt.
movies set during war, because like Dunkirk, 1917, All Quiet on the Western
Yeah.
Front won this award.
Speaking of, and this I think we can end our Oppenheimer discussion with this point, because I think that's one of the reasons maybe that Oppenheimer got made. What are Nolan's chances at a Best Director Oscars?
It's looking good, I would say.
I agree.
He's been nominated at least 5 times. I'm not sure the exact number, but he's one of those where he's a current director. He's very beloved, like him, Fincher, Wes and Paul Thomas Anderson, etc., who they're incredibly beloved, but they're always on everyone's list have never won an Oscar.
Yeah,
and with Christopher Nolan, with the entire industry showing up for him to act in this movie, with everyone praising him, and it finally being a movie that can appeal to audiences, with it being a historical Top Geek movie. I don't know if it'll win Best Picture, but I do think Nolan will be one of the frontrunners in the conversation for Best Director. Even though it does seem like with directing, they're going a lot for like the message and thematically lately. Like, not saying they didn't deserve it, but like they didn't care to award Steven Spielberg again or so on. But I do think Nolan has the narrative, and he would more than deserve it.
Yeah, I feel like he only got nominated as a director only once. Oh yeah, it was in 2017 for Dunkirk. So that was his only directing nod.
And then he was also nominated for writing Memento and Inception.
Yeah, he's and also he got, of course, a Best Picture nom, also for Dunkirk. So those are his.
And for Inception too, I think. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I was right. It's 5. It's original screenplay for Memento, picture and original screenplay for Inception, and picture and director for Dunkirk.
exactly. So yeah, I think it's his time. Honestly, I think they have to give it to him. His body of work speaks for itself. I know I'm probably biased as fuck, but like he has 3 movies in my top 15 movies of all time, and he's the only director that has that. And maybe, who knows, maybe Oppenheimer will get on that. So because for me,
Also, it's one of those.
for me it's his
It's one
fourth
of the-
best movie, by the way. So it's like his
It's
first 3 are
definitely
in
top
my
5 for me. My ranking of his changes a lot, but it's top 5 for sure. Also, if he loses, like, what will it take for him Like
I don't know.
he's been giving everything for this industry, like especially his whole like dedication to the cinematic experience
Yeah,
and shooting on film. I think also connects to like preserving creativity and fighting for creators to be recognized this year. I think it could really fit with the narrative too.
I agree. Okay, so scores for Oppenheimer. I think this is an easy one. 10 out of 10 for me. You go? Also 10 out of 10? Fantastic. So great. Let's talk about the other behemoth, the actually bigger behemoth that came out the same weekend. Barbie part of Barbenheimer, directed by Greta Gerwig. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so Greta Gerwig wrote and directed it, and she wrote it with Noah Baumbach, who is her real life partner, and they've of course worked on other movies together like Frances Ha and White Noise. And you got Margot Robbie as stereotypical Barbie, Ryan Gosling is stereotypical Ken. In addition, you
No,
got
no, no.
America Ferrera,
Beach Can.
Beach Ken. Okay.
He
Then you
beached.
also got America Ferrera, Kate McKinnon, Michael Cera, Issa Rae, Simu Liu, Will Ferrell, Kingsley Ben-Adir, Dua Lipa's in this movie, Emerald Fennell, a lot of great people.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Let's start the discussion with the partner combo of Gerwig and Baumbach. Like you said, they worked together before. They're partners in real life, and I think they wrote probably the funniest script of the year. I'm
It's
asking you.
funny as hell. Oh, it's
That's my opinion, but I
funny
want
as
to hear
hell.
what you think.
I need to think because what were like the best comedies that came out this year? I think this is like up there, but it's just funny as hell. Because listen, when you announced a Barbie movie, like a Warner Brothers movie about a real life Barbie, this had
I was
potential to be
dreading
an
it.
atrocity.
I was
Like it
dreading
had
that
potential to
movie.
be like a cat's emoji movie level atrocity. Then
Yeah.
Greta Gerwig came on, and everyone was hyped as hell.
Yeah,
And
that's
this,
that's what made it for me for sure. Like before that, when it was also gonna be with Amy Schumer, I was like, oh,
oh
that is
God, no,
not what I want. That is
we
not what I
dodged
want
a
at all.
bullet. Jeez.
So yeah, so when Greta got on and Robbie got on first because she's also
Like
producer.
2023 ranked list. I think this is the funniest movie of the year so far.
Yeah, for me as well. And so yeah, like when Robbie got on as a producer, and then Greta got on with Noah, I think that movie just elevated to an insane amount.
Yeah, I mean, also I feel like this movie like leans into some of the stuff that you would expect from a Barbie movie. Like there's just people saying like "Hi Barbie" or like them doing like silly flips, like stuff that you would maybe picture if you imagined a real life Barbie land. But there's this cheekiness to it. Like whenever they say stuff that maybe is not supposed to be like dug under the surface, there is something. Like for example, in the trailer, there's like her going, "Did you bring your rollerblades?" And Ken going, "I literally go nowhere without them." And I don't know, it's just like something about the delivery of all these like silly lines just immediately makes Barbie and Barbie Land like this lovable place. Even like the Lizzo song, like all of it just worked for me.
Yeah, I've been hearing that. I've been listening to that soundtrack non-stop. Like I'm at the gym blasting "I'm Just Ken" daily, daily. Um, go ahead.
To the male experience. I'm just Ken and I'm enough. And I'm great at doing stuff. So, hey, check me out. I'm just Ken. My name's Ken and so am I. Put that manly hand in mine. How godly are those lyrics?
He is indeed enough. Um, I think they say that in the song as well. But yeah, incredible soundtrack. Like the Dua Lipa song is also so fun. Uh, but let's talk a little bit about Robbie first. Like I said, she produced the movie. I just actually watched an interview where she said that she didn't really cast herself. Like she was kind of going to, but like when Greta got on after her, she asked Greta if she would be the best person to play Barbie as well. Like she left that on Greta's hand, and Greta wrote the character for her, right? She was like, "Yeah, it's you, and I'm writing it for you." So that
Even
was
though there's a joke in the movie about Margot Robbie's casting.
exactly. I think that's it was written around. Um, so yeah, she was a great producer for putting this together. She's probably the best stereotypical Barbie that we could have gotten without it being like cheesy or weird or over sexualized or something. Yeah.
Like, even like Anne Hathaway was at one point supposed to be cast, and I don't
Oh
think it would have even
God,
been as natural as what
definitely
Margot
not.
Robbie gave us.
Definitely not. Um, and yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Mister Mister Ryan Gosling
That's
as
his job,
Ken.
by the way. His job is beach. That's what he says. Like, not lifeguard, just
His
beach.
job is,
And it works for the movie. Like, it's so dumb, but it works.
but I will say it was pretty predictable that he was gonna steal the show, but he steals the show in a way.
I won't let you do just one appendectomy,
But I'm a man.
but not a doctor.
Can I talk to a doctor?
You are talking to a doctor.
And I need a clicky pen?
No.
A sharp thing?
No.
There he is. Doctor!
Somebody get security.
That is gotten people talking about Oscar chances for Best Supporting Actor. I am not joking. This is around Variety, Hollywood Reporter, all of that. Um,
There's a serious passion behind Barbie getting in for Best Picture now.
I wouldn't be mad at that, and I wouldn't be mad at him being up for supporting actor. I'm not sure if he should win over RDJ, but yeah, I think he should be up there honestly, just because like he took a role that I think this role only works because it's him. I don't think maybe it's a hot take, but I don't think any other actor would have done as well with this role. And again, he steals the movie. Even when he's an asshole, he's perfect at being an asshole. I really want to get like like what is it, like a little mat outside my door that says "Welcome to my Dojo Mojo Casa house." I really want to do that. That's like my goal right now. Uh,
What's that? There was a meme about that where it was like,
his
instead of
delivery
Grand
of that
Budapest
line
Hotel or
is
something, it
perfect.
was like Grand Mojo Dojo. I just think I was so much more not that that Margot Robbie did anything wrong, but I was so impressed by Ryan Gosling. Not that he's already one of my favorite actors, period. But
His deadpan
just seeing him
delivery
flex,
was incredible.
just seeing him like do like all his comedic and singing talents, he's dove into so much dramatic roles lately, but to show him do it without any sort of ego or anything, like the character has ego, but he's just doing it with this so much love for what he's doing, like when he's singing and whatnot. He's just incredible at what he does. And, you know, we've seen him sing in La La Land. We've seen him be like super silly and misogynistic and crazy, stupid love, but it's still, I would watch it forever.
Yeah, he probably is one of my favorite actors right now, for sure. Like you said, you just listed two of my favorite films. Um, Probably one of my favorite rom coms, and definitely my favorite musical. So, and he's in both, and he's incredible in both, and he's incredible here. Again, stole the show, and yeah, I could see that weird nom happening.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I just don't want people to be upset if it doesn't happen because it's very much like.
Oh, people are gonna be, but I think
Who else stood out
also
in the cast for you?
no, but just a final point of in his character, he has such an insane like journey in this movie about discovering the patriarchy and trying to install it in Barbieland. It's like the craziest premise, the craziest fucking premise, and he sells it, and like he's incredibly funny and like weirdly relatable for playing a doll, and you feel everything that he feels. Like the guy absolutely like just
I think
nails it.
he keeps falling back into that category of playing Sigma males, so we shouldn't have been fooled here.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the like you said, the other cast members. I think the highlight for the other people in this movie for me were two. Weird Barbie, played by Kate McKinnon, and Alan, played by Michael
I knew you
Cera
were gonna say that.
brilliantly.
I saw
He
you on Letterboxd saying, as an Alan, this was hard to watch.
That was a bit of a joke because like mostly everything he did, I probably would have done the same. And my friends were watching with me, and every time that he said anything or did anything, they would turn to me, laugh, and say, "You would do that, or you would say that." So yeah, he's definitely my spirit animal in that way. But
Also, there's a joke about like Alan's being in the real world. That was one of my favorite jokes in the whole movie.
yeah, and just the up like I heard I don't I'm sorry I don't remember who said it, but a reviewer say that like people say that this movie not people, stupid people say that this movie like misrepresents men and says that all men are bad and all that. No, like the whole thing is that like Alan is the only like free doll because he's not a Ken.
Wow,
He's like
that's a
unique.
good point.
He's like unique. He's like it's only Alan, but like it's yeah, that's the take that like because he's the only free one that doesn't have to conform to being a Ken.
Dude, why am I like, why are we talking like so in depth about the themes of a Barbie movie? Why is this movie so much fun? Like,
So basically, it's what every man could be if they like got away from like the expectations of being a man and all that, which in the case of the movies, the expectations of being a Ken. So
congratulations, Alan. You're the ideal man.
so
But I do think
not to toot my own horn, but
I don't think the movie really like antagonizes men. Like it
I don't think so
antagonizes
either.
like systems based on patriarchal like structures. But I think the main idea is that men and women can be awesome. You don't need each other's approval. You just need to focus on your own identity and self-discovery. You know, like romance is great, but it shouldn't be like the whole movie is criticizing needing to appease men or dress for them or etc. or needing to look hot or play a song or be dominant over a woman. That's the whole
Yeah.
theme of the movie. And I don't think it was, personally as a man, I didn't feel it was biased towards anyone.
No, but to be fair, we're definitely not the men that are saying that shit. But yeah, like that was the analysis that basically like yeah, he's what man should be. So I'm excited that people think I'm him. He was my favorite character, by the way. Again, do with that what you will with how I think of myself, but he was my favorite character.
Was great. I loved him. Also, I say America Ferrera, I think was a great part of it. Her character was kind of the heart of the movie. And I think her storyline is also why I think this would be a terrific watch for like moms and daughters and just like all basically any I think this movie's good for everyone, but like especially like women seeing themselves in this movie. And then I just loved Simu Liu. He is having so
great.
much fun with this movie, and he's like the perfect Ken. He's credited as tourist Ken, but I just he was a great Ken. But all
He's like the arch nemesis of the main Ken,
Yeah.
played by
but
Ryan
he's
Gosling.
Simu Liu, so it's
So
like
fun.
so likable. Also,
And when he said that the Barbie script was the best thing he ever read, we all laughed. But it's a pretty freaking great script.
and I feel like after reading the script, why would you not want to be a part of this movie after you read the script? Like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Even John Cena signed up for this.
Yeah, I will say my favorite random person that was there that I didn't know was there until I was in the theater was Scott Evans. He's so funny. He doesn't have that many lines, but he's so funny.
Extra, but he's like, oh, like he understood the assignment.
Exactly. Yeah, Kingsley Benadir is great. And Kutigatwa is also great. Yeah, like Issa Rae. Yeah, fantastic cast.
Everything in the Barbie world, like this movie asks you to suspend disbelief so much and like not question whatever's going on. Like there are no rules of logic in this movie. Like she just floats. Like they explain it somewhat that it corresponds to dolls being played with, but you do have to suspend disbelief. But it being
I
a
think
Barbie
it
movie,
actually
like
works in that sense because, like,
yeah, it totally works. Like it's just the kind of tone and the kind of movie where, yeah, they're dancing at a dance party with all this like completely synchronized dance choreography, and everyone just understands the choreography, can hop in and do exactly what everyone else is doing. But you're just in for the ride.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I didn't care that there's no explanation for how exactly
just
Barbie
made it
Land works.
funnier,
It's just
'cause,
all
like,
great.
people use the word magical realism for when they go to the real world, because it's supposed to be the real world, but then you go into Mattel and it's just like the most cartoonish thing ever. Um, so yeah, like I think that works perfectly here, like magical realism of like them running around and like chasing her and all that, trying to put her back in the box. Which is
Interesting. And I
a
also just think,
whole
like,
thing by itself. Yeah.
I also think this movie's going to draw a lot of comparisons to the Lego movie because both are about toys who correspond with being played with in the real world. Will Ferrell plays a guy who's all about business. In the Lego movie, he's literally president in business. I think it's going to draw a lot of comparisons.
Yeah, you're right. And they're both great movies, so why not? Okay, so let's finish it out. What grade would you give Barbie?
Right now, I'd give it an 8. But
Really?
it's the kind of movie where when I think about it, when I think about what's in this movie, it makes me smile. I'd happily rewatch it, and it's weird that I'd be like, yeah, like I want to rewatch this with my friends one day. It's a really fun movie. I'm sorry. Like,
kinda really
why
wanna
is
go
this one of the
rewatch.
most exciting movies so far?
I'm definitely gonna rewatch with my two best friends when it comes out on digital. Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. It's currently my third favorite movie of the year. Uh, I had a freaking blast watching this movie. I missed watching a good comedy.
I think it's like fun. I think it's like probably on like bottom of my top 10 of the year so far, but it's one of the most fun. Like if I see myself rewatching,
For me, you know how I do my top tens and stuff. Like it's basically enjoyment level. That's
totally. It's
Yeah.
still like my favorite comedy of the year. I think, what you said about the awards buzz, I hope it at least gets a little more talk. I think costume design and production design,
Yeah.
especially with all the behind the scenes talk in the news, it's a lock to get nominated. That's awesome.
yeah. Like we were
Speaking
discussing
of-
with Nolan, almost no CGI, mostly all practical. All those sets were real. So
Speaking of costume designers, I'll say one thing to close out our discussion. 91-year-old costume designer Anne Roth, who is a 2-time Oscar winner, most recently for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, has a beautiful scene on a bench with Margot Robbie's Barbie, which I thought was a
Oh.
lovely moment.
I kind of thought that was the inventor of Barbie's daughter.
Oh, I wonder if they're alive. Probably, but
Okay, so yeah, that was our discussion on Barbenheimer. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Leave your comments down below of what you thought of Barbenheimer, Barbie, Oppenheimer. Which one you prefer? Which one was more fun for you? Did you do the double screening? Let us know.
yeah, tell us about your experience. Tell us about your crowd, how far in between you saw, which ones you liked more. What do you think the
and,
awards
leave a
chances
like.
are?
Very important.
Yeah, that is important.